All right. So you guys are 5 games in. Your dad, Kelvin, coach. I don't know if that ever feels weird when people are talking to you, but he talks about he likes to use holidays as markers. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on just 5 games in. How do you feel the team has done? What do you feel like they've done well through the first 5 games of the season?
I think that maybe where we've improved or where we're getting there is we're kind of where we're supposed to be. I think in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
We're integrating younger guys into our rotation, and that's always a challenge. For as long as he's been here, J1 Roberts never really been a starter,
mm-hmm.
and so that's a brand new role for him. Jamal Mark has never been a starter, so that's a brand new role for him. Jamal Shed and Marcus didn't get a chance to play with each other a whole lot last year, and so working that chemistry is important to keep evolving. So I think we're in a really good place, and that we're right where we're supposed to be. We're improving.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you, as a coach, your biggest fear sometimes is how close are you to your ceiling.
Right.
You want to peak at the right time, and I think that we've got a lot of ceiling left with this bunch. And it's our challenge each and every day to make sure that they get there.
Mm-hmm. Like you just touched on, a lot of players adjusting to those rules. How do you guys as a coaching staff help those players reach that potential you talked about?
I think one of the biggest things is painting a clear picture for them about what the expectations are, and then holding them to that standard each and every single day. We've been fortunate enough that we've won some games around here, and so there's not this euphoria or this egregiousness when we win, or when we win what some people would perceive to be a big game.
Right.
And I don't think our guys overreact to winning games, anymore the way that past teams do. I think that there's very much a hard hat, lunch bell mentality with these guys about, game night is a chance to see where we're at,
mm-hmm.
and then we're going to go about fixing the things the next day that we need to get fixed from what the game told us.
Mm-hmm. In regards to the forwards, you touched on like Jarris, 5 games into his college career, but J1 too. He hasn't necessarily been a starter in the past. He's kind of jumping into that role. So like you said, that's another adjustment that they have to learn, really, that position. How does a guy like Reggie, if at all, how does he help those guys to bring them along? Because he started for a Final Four team in the past.
Sure, yeah, and I think that all of our older guys, Reggie is probably certainly the senior statesman,
mm-hmm.
Understanding. Look, on nights that a young guy like Jarris or even J1, that he's got it really, really going, I think Reggie's a great sounding board about, man, you're never as good as you quite think you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then, maybe on nights that they don't have it going, and both have certainly had the experience, both sides of that spectrum. A guy like Reggie and his veteran presence, hey man, you're not nearly as bad as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're being able to find the medium ground. But regardless, great night or poor night, the attitude's got to be same the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about fixing our mistakes, coming in here with a humble mindset, and let's get locked in on what's ahead.
Is that something that's difficult for younger players to have, that even keel mindset, like never get too high, never get too low?
I think it's certainly something that has plagued people for as long as they play basketball. But in this social media era, good nights and people start going off the rails about the possibilities, and then a bad night, everybody's so quick to put dirt on you,
mm-hmm.
Really, really quick. I think in this world that we live in today it's more paramount than ever about keeping kids level grounded and in the moment at all times.
Mm-hmm.
They can get tugged and pulled and taken to some wild places. If you don't have a program that's got the right kinds of leaders and the right kinds of vets that will kind of put seatbelts on everybody.
How have you ever, coach, have had to adjust to that, to keeping kids in check with social media and all that?
It is an ever changing challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is understanding, and when you build meaningful relationships with them, you can identify subtle changes, or you can identify potential potholes. I think the mark of a great coach, or the mark of a great coaching staff, is when you can almost predict slippage, and you can almost anticipate some potential potholes before you're car hits a flat tire.
Right.
If you're constantly spending all of your time fixing your problems, you're gonna have some long days.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can be preventative with your problems and be a fire preventer, you're gonna end up having a pretty special year.
One of the final things I want to touch on. No, I'm good. One of the final things I want to touch on, just in terms early on, the game against Oregon. And a lot of it had to do with their length, but they out-rebounded you guys, which, I mean, you don't see often against you guys.
Right.
So is that, obviously it's a learning experience, but what are you guys telling, really, I mean, just the team overall, but in particular the bigs, in regards to a matchup like that where they had to size this event?
Yeah, I think it was hopefully, knock on wood, is a great learning moment that I can't make them, any of them, 7 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that we played that game a little bit on even terms. We didn't play any harder than they did. We didn't out-scrap them. We didn't out-fight them. We didn't get any nastier, any grimier than they did. Mm-hmm. And what they did to us wasn't an accident. And that's the message we got to convey to our guys moving forward. We can't, when you're giving up as much size as we did the other night, you can't play the game on even terms. You can't play it on even footing. You've got to find a way to get their guys to play that game in the mud with you, and your effort, your energy, but your how creative your game, how cagey you are about getting the job done's got to take over. The ball went up, they went up, we went up, and you know what? Anatomy won. Mm-hmm. It got okay. That's got to be the last time that we attack it that way. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to last time I played a team that's got a bunch of 7-footers running around. Mm-hmm. We got to be a lot better about how we are attacking teams with that kind of size, for sure.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.